We made it, 1st of September, first day of spring when this video goes live. How good is that? It felt like winter was extremely short, and now that it's springtime, things are warming up, things are starting to grow. We're gonna start looking at lawn renovations and all that kind of thing throughout the growing season. Really excited for what is going to be a massive one. Let's get into this video. Yes, g'day and welcome to a new video. I've just given this a little mow, just a stripe reversal mow. So I was going down the opposite ways to make the stripes look good because I've been mowing in that same direction for a very long time over winter. So just went down, reversed that. And now the focus of today's video, all about lawn renovations. Now it is blowing an absolute Megan gale out here. So I've got the microphone taped under here. So hopefully no wind sounds in the audio. Lawn renovations, springtime, it's what us lawn fanatics, we get really excited about. And there's always tons of questions that I get about lawn renovations, which is why I made my lawn renovation guide. I've just put up a lawn renovation series on Instagram this week, so that is something that you can go and check out as well. But in this video, I want to talk about the different steps of a renovation and the different types of equipment that you can buy, my opinion on the different bits of stuff that I have and how they can help you in this process of a lawn renovation. All right, well, it's a pretty decent lineup here that's been accumulated. Weirdly, I actually felt like there was going to be more. But anyway, each of these has a specific use when it comes to a lawn renovation process. So one thing that I think we'll do is we'll separate it into the different parts of the process. The first step in a lawn renovation is cutting your lawn back and scalping it. After that comes scarifying, aeration, top dressing, and then the recovery watering. So let's organize all this stuff into those steps. So starting down here with the rotary mowers, even if you are cutting with a cylinder mower, I think it's really good in your shed to have a rotary mower. So I've got these two now. I've got this Massport, which I've had for years, and this one was sent to me by Ryobi a year ago, spring last year. I have found myself reaching for this mower when I need a rotary mower, just to clean up leaves off the front yard or whatever it may be. Whenever I have a use for a rotary mower, this is the one I find myself going for. The fact that it's battery just makes it really simple. Just pull it out of the shed, flick the battery in there and off you go. This mower, I haven't actually started it up for a very long time. It normally starts second time every time. All right, still going. Now in terms of comparing rotary mowers, something that's important, if you go with the battery mower, you're probably not going to be able to scalp your lawn with it because the lowest cut generally in Australia is about 25 millimeters, and 25 millimeters is a pretty good maintenance height, even 35, 40 mil if you're rotary mowing once or twice a week. So that makes a battery mower really difficult at reno time, whereas this Massport, it cuts all the way down to 7 mil. Now I did have some struggles scalping with this, and I tried a lot of different methods last season, which you would have seen if you were watching a lot of my renovation content. So I'm going to skip past the cylinder mower for a second to this utility mower. So this here is an old Victor utility mower. It's 2-stroke, so it's got a lot of grunt in it. I just got it off Facebook Marketplace, I think for 160 bucks or something like that. Now this thing, it goes super low at the moment. Something that's holding it back though is the size of these wheels. So Shane from Lawn Culture Australia, really appreciate. From him that he sent down some smaller Victor wheels. So pre-spring reno, I'm going to flick off these larger wheels, put on the smaller wheels to bring the blades lower to the ground. I tried lots of different methods where I scarified first to try and thin out my lawn. I tried taking the catcher off that mower and running through it and then going and picking up all the clippings afterwards. Tried multiple things. With this, even from how this lawn looks right now, in theory, what I'm hoping is I can just drop this to the lowest level from the very start, absolutely annihilate my lawn, go across, picking up all the clippings, and I'll have the lawn fully scalped in 2 or 3 hours, instead of what I've previously done where I've scarified, try and loosen it up. I've cut with the cylinder mower a couple of times to try and get it low. Then I've gone to this rotor, and it's been a, you know, far out, how long? 6, 7, 8 hour process, even longer maybe. So I think this is going to be a game changer for me this spring, and I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully scalp and scarify in one day, just previously been probably 2. And then a cylinder mower, where does that come into the process? Now, this is actually the high cut model of the MowMaster, so I think about 10 mil or something is the lowest that this goes. I was cutting at 12 mil for regular mowing after my late summer renovation last year, and that was fine. But depending on how high your real mower cuts, and if you are cylinder mowing, you can scalp with that. I know it's very common in Perth to do their finishing cut at the end of a lawn renovation with a cylinder mower. Probably not going to be too kind on your blades, and I certainly wouldn't be doing that with my Mass Sport, which is a cylinder mower that's not got as much grunt as the MowMaster. So for me, my MowMaster would be able to handle it a bit more if I was going to be doing that, and if it did cut down to that sort of 4 mil or something like that, like I would need to, given I've got this utility mower to really hook into it. Next is scarifying, which, if you're new here, is all about getting these vertical blades and digging them down into the lawn and ripping up thatch. So the thatch is that dead layer of organic material which is stopping air, water, nutrients getting down into that soil. If it's never been done before on your lawn, you're gonna have a ton of thatch in there to pull up. It's gonna be super satisfying. But these Ryobi battery machines, used them heaps before. When it comes to general light maintenance, which I'm actually gonna be using this on my lawn next week to just give it a little tickle, a little freshen up at the start of spring, not a renovation, just a little thin out. At that point in time, I recommend keeping this catcher on. When it comes to a renovation, take this catcher off and just let it go, and then just come around, battery mower. I'll probably use that Ryobi, to be honest. Come around, pick up all the clippings off your lawn and get it all thinned out. Now, when it comes to hiring or buying, I recommend scarifiers to buy them. I think you really, for a lot of places, it depends on what machine you actually buy as well, because there are multiple on the market, but generally about 3 hires will be the same cost as buying one of these. Some of the petrol machines, there's petrol machines I think around $800 or something like that. So if you use it a few times, and especially if you're using it throughout the season on Cooch Kaiku Zoysia for little thin outs, little grooms throughout the season to maintain your turf quality, depending how into this hobby you are, that is really gonna help a lot. You get a lot of use out of them. Definitely recommend buying a scarifier over hiring. Aeration though, now when it comes to aeration, you've got a couple of options. Firstly, if you've got a small yard, manual aeration is a really good way to go. Now, aeration in general is just punching holes into your yard. And there is solid tine aeration, which is something like a pitchfork that is just putting solid holes into the ground and just dispersing that soil a bit more. It's going to be better than nothing. It's definitely going to be beneficial to your yard to solid tine aerate. So if you just take your pitchfork and you go around stabbing holes in the yard, that's going to help, especially on some heavily compacted areas. And even, to be honest, even if you do have a large yard, but you just go into your main areas and use the pitchfork, that's going to be really helpful. There are also manual core aeration tools. So with this, we are just, my irrigation over there. We're just coming through there. And these can do a really good job. Oh, that's snapped off. Soil's nice and moist, but that's just pulling out some really nice cores out of there. So these are a good option, again, if you have a smaller yard, to aerate your entire area. If your yard is, 100, 150 square meters, potentially you could, if you're doing it over a weekend or even throughout the week, Monday after work, not sure how long it'll take you, depends on your fitness level, but might be 20 minutes. And you do 20 square meters Monday night, you do 20 square meters Tuesday night, and so on, until then on the weekend, you've aerated your whole lawn, and then you're ready to top dress on that weekend. After the previous weekend, you sculpted and scarified. Something like that could be a way that you, even if your yard is a little bit bigger, could still use one of these, buy it once, save on the cost of hiring an aerator each season. Could be a good way to go. In general though, I said I recommend buying a scarifier. I do recommend hiring an aerator. So for me here on my yard, 500 square meters, if hiring the aerator is $160, $180, something like that, and I'm pretty much doing it once a season, if I was to buy one, I'm gonna have to use it about 50 times to be able to get my money's worth. So unless you're a contractor and you're gonna offer it as a service, definitely recommend hiring an aerator. So when it comes to top dressing your lawn to be able to improve your soil, so for me, I'm trying to improve my soil by making it drain better. You might be wanting to improve your soil because it doesn't hold on to nutrients and it's really poor and unhealthy. So you're using compost. For me, I'm using washed sand to try and improve predominantly drainage and flattening out any spots that are not very level. So these are my 3 tools for that process when I'm not using a mechanical spreader like I've used out here on this backyard, which game changer to be able to save on my back basically, because top dressing this by hand, whew, yeah. Did that once with the help of the 2 boys from Lawn Lads, and that was a big day. But number 1 tool, this shovel, they're about $8 from Bunnings. What's the brand? Saxon. So it's super light and it's got this short handle, which personally for me, I just find really easy. I'm sure there's biomechanics involved to be able to get good solid handfuls and throw it out onto the lawn. If you're using a heavy shovel with a really long handle, I don't know, it just is a lot more physical work and it's already a physical task. Next thing is the leveling rake. So this I bought off Lawn Tips before I even started an Instagram account all those years ago. So yeah, a leveling rake comes in really handy to be able to flatten out your top dressing material, get it all nice and pushed into the low spots. This is 1 meter wide, so it does an awesome job of that. You can also use it for dew removal and things like that as well, so it can be used throughout the season. I was in Bunnings yesterday actually and just had a quick look at some of the leveling rakes. There's a couple of options. One's $20 or $25, there's another for about $50. They're very narrow, they're a lot more narrow, so they're not going to help you find the low spots as well. But I think, you know, this was at the time, I think, what did I pay? 160, 180 bucks, something like that. And I got my money's worth, but there are other options. You know, if you're just getting started and you've got nothing, there are a lot of things to spend money on in this hobby. So going down that route, and then maybe in a few seasons time, you go, yep, you know what, I'm gonna fork out and I'm gonna get a really good leveling rake. Maybe that's something you'll choose to do. And then the other thing is this cart. Now, my back still has bad memories about the time I top dressed my 450 square meters between back and front yard at our old place by hand with a wheelbarrow, using a big, long, heavy shovel, using a wheelbarrow. So the physical effort required of picking up that wheelbarrow and carrying it is so much more than wheeling this cart. The only thing I wish this cart had was a brake. That would be very helpful. But yeah, wheeling this cart around instead of lifting up a heavy wheelbarrow makes the process just so much easier on my body. Far out, that wind is horrific. I'm nervous for how this footage will come out. But once that top dressing is done, all that work is done, ripping up your lawn, it's time to get into the recovery watering. So I'm fortunate enough to have an irrigation system out here, so I can just set that on my phone and it's amazing. There's an inquiry form if you're in Victoria for the guys who did my irrigation system, and you'll be able to get a nice little discount there if you want it. But if you're using manual sprinklers, you need to have a look at different options for what's going to be the best for your yard. These ones here are from HoseLink. They're awesome. This oscillating sprinkler, if you've got a square or rectangle type of area, this one is super adjustable to bring in the width and to make it go wider or narrower. It's really, really good, that one. Different flow control on there. Really like that one for squares and rectangles. If you've got a little bit more like a triangular sort of shape or a semicircle sort of shape, then an impact sprinkler will be the way to go. I love these ones, and these are what I use out of my front yard. And this one also works really well on my front yard. So this one has got all different spray patterns on here that you can adjust it to. There's a narrow rectangular shape on here, which I use for the nature strip, just in 2 separate spots on the nature strip. And that works really, really well. But yeah, there's all those different ones on there that you can use with that. Your recovery watering, you want to try and keep your lawn damp from pretty much morning till evening, let it dry out in the evening so it's not sitting damp overnight is generally the way to go. But look, if the absolute best you can do throughout your early recovery watering process is a big deep water in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you get home from work straight away, and that's what you can manage around your schedule, that's fine. It might just take a little bit longer for your lawn to repair, but yeah, slowly backing off that watering, if possible, 2 or 3 times a day initially, and then it'll eventually be once a day, every second day, every third day, out into your normal watering schedule of once a week. And getting the right sprinklers or setup for your yard will be really, really helpful. All right, well, hopefully that video has been helpful for you to understand some of these different bits of machinery, maybe help you make some decisions and do some planning when it comes to your lawn renovation this spring. There'll be heaps of content on here and Instagram. It's by far what gets the most amount of questions from people is about lawn renovation, so hopefully I can answer those in all of this content. It's also the reason I made a lawn renovation guide, and I put all of that information congested into one document. So yeah, if you're interested in that, that is going to help you a lot. $35, but potentially it could save you $35 pretty quickly in a renovation just by being able to understand the process and save on some costs, see the different options, all that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm really proud of that document anyway, which I've said a fair few times on different areas of social media, but it will help you out. So anyway, any questions, put them in the comments and all that sort of thing. Looking forward to a huge season. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there who are worth celebrating. And I do say that very intentionally. But yeah, look, thank you for watching that video. Yeah, looking forward to a massive season. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Cheers.